August 2021 and I've headed west to the city of Bath in search of genteel Georgians and Roman ruins. Located above the only hot springs in the UK, this part of Somerset was always destined to play an important role in the history of Britain. Legend says the springs were discovered around 863 BCE by King Bladud, but it was the Romans nearly 900 years later who created Aqua Sulis as the foundation for the city that became modern-day Bath. The legend has it that Bladud contracted leprosy whilst in Athens. He was either imprisoned and escaped or was exiled away. In either case, he became a pig farmer, which is where he discovered the hot springs, which cured him of his leprosy, and he was restored to his position as heir to the throne. He then founded the city of Bath so that others might benefit as he had done. Bath is actually home to multiple hot springs, the only such town in the UK, and with the exception of Droitwich Spa, the only location with hot springs. The most famous of the springs is the King's Bath, the location of the Roman baths, but close by are also the Cross and Hetling Springs. With their love of bath culture, it's only natural that the Romans would be attracted to the hot springs, and by 60 to 70 AD, less than 20 years after the settlement of Britain, a temple had been constructed at the site and the settlement of Aqua Sulis was founded. The baths remained in use throughout the Roman era in Britain, but within a century of the Romans leaving, according to the Anglo-Saxon chronicles, the baths were in ruins. The hot springs were still used, and, as Bath saw a renaissance through the Georgian era, the site of the Roman baths were preserved inside new Georgian buildings, including the pump room where visitors could take the waters. The baths continued to be used right up until the 1970s, when unfortunately a young girl swimming in the baths contracted meningitis and died. The modern Thermae bath spa, which opened in 2006, uses new boreholes that bypass the contaminated spring. The original spring is still there and keeps the historic bath supplied with water, the excess flowing out through the overflow and down the River Avon close to the Pulteney Bridge. You can tour around the baths that also house an extensive museum on the history of the site, and in summer months you can visit the baths late and be by the waters as the sun starts to set, with flaming torches lit, and imagine yourself as part of high Roman society. Bath is most well known for the Romans and the Georgians, but as with so much of English history, Henry VIII is bound to make an appearance, and in Bath it's in the form of the Abbey that sits in what is today a pleasant Georgian square at the very heart of the city, next to the baths. Founded in the 7th century, the Abbey was rebuilt in the 12th century to its modern form, but in January 1539 it was surrendered to Henry VIII as part of the dissolution of the monasteries, and was soon stripped of its lead, iron and glass, and left to decay. However, a picturesque ruin it wasn't to become, as just 35 years later, Queen Elizabeth I promoted the restoration of the church, and further refurbishments in the 17th, 19th, 20th and 21st centuries has created the beautiful building that exists today. But the biggest impact on the town was that of the Georgians, and no part of town more famous than the Circus and Royal Crescent. The circus was first to be built by John Wood the Elder between 1754 and 1768. A few yards away from the circus is his son's response. Built by John Wood the Younger between 1767 and 1774, the Royal Crescent is what people think of when you say Georgian architecture. Bath's beauty is helped by its position on the River Avon, with the Georgian Pulteney Bridge and, surprisingly late edition 1970s Weir, being a focal point. From the bridge, it's possible to take a boat trip up the Avon out of the city centre. Past boats' houses and into the countryside. and up to the Weir and Toll Bridge at Barthampton. Before returning to Bath and taking in the slightly less picturesque view of the rear of Pulteney Bridge. "20 miles to the southwest of Bath and you reach the cathedral city of Wells. The current cathedral was built between 1176 and 1460 to replace an earlier 8th century building. The cathedral is generally held to be one of the most beautiful in England. The chapter house is located on a floor above the main nave of the cathedral. A bridge linking the chapter house comes down into Vicar's Close. The Close is thought to be the oldest purely residential street with its original buildings surviving intact in Europe, having been built in the mid-14th century. On the opposite side of the cathedral, and on a grander scale than the small buildings of Vicar's Close, is the Bishop's Palace, home to the Bishop of Bath and Wells. Whilst the image of an Anglican bishop today might be a little more Christian and forgiving, the role of a medieval bishop carried a bit more risk, which is why the site more closely resembles a fortress with an impressive moat surrounding the site. Today, the ramparts, beautiful gardens and parts of the palace are open to the public to explore. Bath is located on the Great Western Main Line between London and Bristol, with regular trains running between Paddington and Bath Spa Station. There are bus links from Bath to Bristol Airport, which has connections across Europe.